we have seen a gradual erosion of democracy. We have seen the use in tandem of the mob violence of the PAD, the military staging a coup, the courts using their powers in order to dissolve political parties, and maneuverings behind the scenes by the military. In the end, after dissolving the government party for the second time, they managed to bribe and cajole a number of members of parliament whose backgrounds were hardly clean to change sides. And now we have a government led by the misnamed Democrat Party. Democrat Party Prime Minister Abhisit Wejchajiwa, for those of you who are not Thai, his first name means privilege. And he is privileged because he came from Eton and Oxford. Now, the Democrat Party government is both vicious and paranoid. Well, they have a right to be paranoid because they've never been elected from a majority of the Thai population. They're only there because of the military. They're only there because some of Thaksin's members of parliament who are more dubious were cajoled and bribed. But what do you think in December 2008 the priority of the new Democrat government ought to be? Now, there are thousands of people losing their jobs in Thailand because of the economic crisis. But the priority of the Democrat Party government was to crack down on lese majeste. So their one and only priority is to make sure that they push along the lese majeste laws. Now, many people think that the Democrat Party government may not be really in control. The people who are really in control are the military. But this is probably true. But at the same time, I think it's worth noting that key Democrat members of parliament are pushing for the sentences on lese majeste to be increased from 15 years to 25 years. So this is their priority. The Democrat Party have always opposed the use of public funds for welfare. They're very reluctant to stimulate the economy. They've just started to stimulate, to bring in a few measures to stimulate the economy. They're not going to be enough. And I don't think they really understand that they need to stimulate the economy. And why don't they understand? Because they represent the group of cronies in Thailand who think that they can ride roughshod over the Thai population. They were in charge in the 1997 economic crisis, and their statement to the Thai population who were becoming unemployed in the Thai economic crisis in 1997 was, go back to your villages and get help from your relatives. In other words, go and starve in the villages. Don't look for us for any help. And this is actually one of the reasons why when Thaksin put forward his new manifesto, where he said that his government would look after everybody, he was immensely popular. This is again some more pictures of PAD violence. This is the PAD confronting the police outside Government House. And they had a big clash on the 7th of October, and the PAD fought with the police. They had bombs, they had arms, they had guns, they had sticks, and the police used tear gas. There were 2 deaths as a result of this. Now, if this had happened anywhere else in the world, the protesters would have been condemned, not necessarily for correct reasons, but in Thailand, everything is topsy-turvy. The people that got condemned for this protest were the police. They shouldn't have used tear gas to stop the PAD from preventing Parliament from opening. That was the opinion of the academics. It was the opinion of the mainstream Thai media. And this is what the PAD do to their opponents. Pictures taken by Thai PBS Public Service TV. Here we have someone from the PAD driving their pickup truck over a policeman. And guess what? No one from the PAD has been charged. But if Harry Nicolaides writes one sentence in his novel that may be something to do with the Crown Prince, he goes to prison. He's in shackles. Eventually, he gets released after months in prison. There's a guy now, Suwichai Thakor. He's in prison awaiting trial. All he did was post something on the internet. But someone who ran over somebody else, people who use guns in the street, they're all roaming around free. And why are they doing that? Because the powers that be back these people. Today we have massive censorship. Websites are being closed down. Some of my web blogs are being blocked from Thailand, but of course people know how to get around these blocks. A cat and mouse game, if you like, with the Ministry of Censorship. There are a lot of people who are being traced by their computer IP numbers, and they're being hauled off to jail. What we see today in Thailand, as a result of the PAD, as a result of the military, as a result of the Democrat Party coming to power, is something way beyond any anti-democratic faults that Thaksin had. As I've said earlier, I was totally opposed to the human rights abuses of the Thaksin government, but this present regime goes way beyond that. We don't have any freedom of the press at all now. It is totally controlled by those in power. The reason why people are afraid of going to court for lese majeste is because judges can decide what is and what isn't lese majeste. The charges against people aren't really published in the paper. For newspapers to say that so-and-so was charged for lese majeste for saying this, this, and this would mean that the editors of those newspapers would themselves be charged with lese majeste. So there's no transparency, there's no accountability, and the judges are protected by a similar kind of law to lese majeste, and that's the law of contempt of court. Anybody who criticizes a court ruling can be thrown into prison. Now, what is it that united the anti-Thaksin groupings? Basically, they were afraid that their old privileges, the privileges that they were used to getting through their networks of nepotism, their networks of patron-client systems, their networks of the elite, the fact that they had power which was unaccountable. They were afraid that all these things were being challenged by the new boy, and the new boy was Thaksin Shinawatra. Thaksin Shinawatra was not and is not a socialist. He's not even a Republican. He's an arch-royalist. But what he had in mind was that he wanted to modernize Thailand. He wanted to make the poor in Thailand stakeholders, if you like. Now, I hate that word because stakeholders is a word which is used by neoliberals, people like Tony Blair and other people. But it's a lot better than thinking that the people are serfs of the king. Thaksin came up with a winning formula. The poor voted for him en masse. And why wouldn't they? Because the Thaksin government was the first government ever in Thailand to give everyone a universal health care scheme. Now, there are many middle-class people in Thailand I've talked to who think this is rubbish. Why would people want such a scheme, they think? These are people who've never worried about their fathers or their mothers becoming sick, or their sons or their daughters becoming sick. They've never worried about hospital bills. They don't understand that this one policy, and there were more policies that helped the poor, actually transformed people's lives. So when people have illusions in Thaksin, and I don't, but when the red shirts do, then you have to understand that these illusions are based on reason. If a political party provided people with a universal healthcare system, a village fund to stimulate the economy and so on, then you can understand why they support that government.